Good morning. I'm the Reverend Denise Cawley. My pronouns are she and hers. The snow is really beautiful today, and I'm delighted to see so many people in the sanctuary, and hello to all of you out there electronically with all of us. I am the interim minister here, helping to prepare all of you for an even more welcoming space for your settled minister, who hopefully will come next summer late. Many of the stories that I'm going to tell today, some of you have been asking me to tell sooner, and I said, no, I'm saving them up for today. All of our children and youth are with us the whole service today, and so we're going to do some playing. The band is with us today, and that's all a delight. I want to give a huge shout out to the workshop and seminar that's next Saturday. If you were thinking, oh, I don't need that, come. It's fun. It's fun to make new friends. It's fun to go through something like that. It's a real honor to have the trainer who's coming in to be at Countryside. We got a really good one. I think we got Patrice Curtis, Reverend Patrice, because I like them and they're my good friend. I don't know if that's really true. I'm going to tell that story to myself. But I think that you're going to have a really good experience. And I think that'll be good for the growth of the congregation and help you plant some really fertile seeds under the snow. So I hope you come. And they're giving you free food and lots of it, breakfast and lunch, so come. So that'll be a good experience for you, so please do that. And today, the chalice lighting is gonna be helped by Xander and Ryan. So if y'all could come up here, I'm gonna help you with your mic as Melanie leads you in the chalice lighting.
Good morning. I'm Melanie Turbovic. My pronouns are she and her. The chalice writing.
My name is Xander. I am in first grade, and my age is 7, and I like playing video games.
My name is Ryan Shapkus. My pronouns are he, him.
Choose to Bless the World by Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. You must answer this question. What will you do with your gifts? What will you do with your gift? Choose to bless the world. There's an embrace of kindness that encompasses all life, even yours. None of us alone can save the world. Together, that's another possibility waiting.
Use that
Spark of kindness to bless the world. Okay. Yeah.
spark of kindness to bless the world.
Use that spark of kindness to bless the world. Thank you very much, Xander.
And now join us, if you're willing and able, to stand and let us sing together hymn number 349, We Gather Together. We gather together in joyful thanksgiving, acclaiming creation whose bounty we share. Both sorrow and gladness we find now in our living. We sing a hymn of praise to the life that we share. We gather together to join in the journey, confirming, committing our passage to be a true affirmation in joy and tribulation, when
used to being up here with all these people. There is a proposal to honor the web of life, which happens to include religious naturalists and some who want to see nature and animals reflected in our covenant. And I've gotten this a little bit wrong a few weeks up here. And so I called Siri, who's the main proposer of this little tiny change. Some of you have worried that if the mission changes, that'll change the covenant. That's not true. Or if Article 2 changes, that changes everything. That's not true. I want to insert some calm into all of you. The only change that's being proposed is to strengthen the bonds of kinship among all. That's all. The idea being that this extends to animals and plants and the web of life. That's all. That's just what the proposal is. So the idea that we would actually be making a stronger statement about our environment and the web of life by deleting one of the references to persons. That's all. So Melanie's going to lead us in the covenant, but I just would like to, I hope, insert some calm. I'm seeing a ton of head nodding, and I want to apologize for getting it confused. And so there were two references to human dignity and human this and that. I find myself wondering if a copy editor would have gotten a hold of this decades ago, if maybe it would have been written a little different, ages ago. So the only change would be that it would read now, if the proposal goes through with the board, we unite to strengthen the bonds of kinship among all, to promote human dignity and to increase reverence for life's creating, sustaining, and transforming power through worship, study, and service. That's all. Okay, it wouldn't mean we wouldn't say this in service. It wouldn't mean anything else. That's all. Okay, so as Siri put it, it would be the idea of introducing one word different in order to have our congregation make one step toward a greater statement toward recognizing the importance of all the elements in the world. So I hope that brings some calm to some folks here. So we can go on with the service.
Thank you, Rev D. Let us recite together our covenant. We unite to strengthen the bonds of kinship among all, to promote human dignity, and to increase reverence for life's creating, sustaining, and transforming power through worship, study, and service.
Hi, good morning. I'm Marta K. Jones-Shanae, and I would like to call all of the young and young at heart to come forward and listen to our story for today. And hang with Rev D. It's nice to see so many came out today. Today's story is Ordinary Mary's Extraordinary Deed by Emily Pearson, with illustrations by Fumi Kosaka. Ordinary Mary was so very ordinary that you'd never guess she could change the world. This ordinary kid, she did. She changed the world. One ordinary day, skipping on her way from her ordinary school to her ordinary house, she passed an ordinary vacant lot filled with ordinary bushes, growing ordinary berries. Ordinary, blue and juicy, luscious, lovely berries. Well, ordinary Mary picked the ordinary berries and brought them in a big brown bowl to Mrs. Bishop's porch. What? Left berries in a big brown bowl on Mrs. Bishop's porch? That sneaky kid. She did. That made Mrs. Bishop very, very happy. So she baked a big batch of blueberry muffins and thought of 5 people who might have brought those beautiful berries, then secretly gave each a plate. How great! 5 people got a plate. One of those 5 was her paper boy, Billy Parker. And when Billy saw his name on a note in the driveway on a plate, he quickly parked his bike and ate every crumb. Oh, yum, yum, yum! He ate every crumb. This made him so glad that the next 5 people got their papers on the porch and not in the bushes where he often threw them. In fact, they were handed right to them. One of those 5 was Mr. Stevens, who was so amazed that he smiled for 10 hours on the airplane, then said to 5 different people who had heavy bags, "Here, let me help you." He still smiled, and they did too. One of those 5 was Maria, whose cranky little boy James stopped crying when Mr. Stevens played peekaboo with him until their ride came. When he waved goodbye, Maria exclaimed, "How strange that a stranger would be so sweet." And the next day, when she was out shopping, once, twice, 5 times, she did something nice for 5 different people, 5 times without stopping. One of those 5 was Joseph, old and bent and gray, in front of her in line at the produce stand. When he said, "I guess I counted wrong. I don't really need these oranges," little James reached out to him with an orange from their basket, and Maria put a coin in Joseph's hand and said, "Here, take this. The oranges are on us." As Joseph shuffled to the bus, his heart was full and his eyes were wet, and his hands did helpful things for the next 5 people he met. One of those 5 was Sarah, a college girl who was off to see the world and stopped at Joseph's shop. When her bag broke and her things fell all over the floor, she said, "Oh, what will I do?" Joseph said, "This is for you." And he gave her a new bag woven with his own hands in red and purple and green. "Oh, thank you," she said. "It's the loveliest bag I've ever seen." When Sarah left, she felt sunny as noon, and she just had to shine on 5 people soon. One of those 5 was Sophia, whom she met on a boat, looking like the world might end, looking like someone without a friend. "What beautiful blue eyes you have," Sarah said, "and they're just the color of the flowers in your lovely dress." "Yes?" said Sophia. "Oh, yes," said Sarah. The beautiful blue eyes shed a happy tear, When the boat trip was through, Sophia called 5 people to make them happy too. One of those 5 was Tom, her son, the doctor, who was having a very hard day. "Hi," she said. "I love you, Tom." "Well, how great to hear your voice," he sighed. "I always need my mom." Dr. Tom was so cheered up that on his next break, he bought a big bunch of bright balloons for 5 young patients, and he handed them out right then and there. One of those 5 was Peter, a little boy who went home from the hospital that very day. Gratitude for the big bunch of bright balloons filled him and thrilled him and spilled out of him and on to the next 5 people who came his way. One of those 5 was Eric, a teenage boy whose sacks and such were way too much. When one dropped on the sidewalk, Peter stopped his play and rushed right over, saying, "Super Wheels to the rescue!" Well, Eric, no longer stressed, was very impressed and made a mental note that very afternoon to help 5 people and do it soon. One of those 5 was Di, his 10-year-old sister, who didn't have many friends and was painfully shy. When Eric said, "Hey sis, want to come to the park and learn how to ride my skateboard?" she looked at him wide-eyed. "Serious?" she cried. "Sure," he said. And because of her brother, Di decided maybe she could be a friend to another 5 others. One of those 5 was Louise, a homeless woman who lived under the trees. She could hardly believe her ears when she heard Di say, "May my brother and I buy you a hot dog and a drink at that stand over there?" Could it be true? Someone actually cared? Cared enough to give her food and a smiley-faced ring that was practically new? Louise was so pleased that she decided that even though she had nothing, she would find 5 others and give them something. One of those 5 was Mr. Taylor, who lost his wallet in the park. Louise found it, full of 5s and 10s and 20s. Oh, what she could do with all that money. But she found his name and called his home, and over he came. He was so impressed that she was honest in spite of being poor that he offered her a job in his store and vowed to do something generous for 5 people or more. One of those 5 was Kate, a woman on vacation who wanted to see a show she'd heard was a sensation. "Oh no," she said, "it's sold out, but I'm going home tomorrow." And her face was filled with sorrow. Mr. Taylor held out his ticket. "I live here," he said. "I can go anytime. Take mine." Kate loved the show and was so touched that she thought of buying 5 presents for 5 people back home would be really fun. And one of those 5 presents was a little heart necklace for Mary, her niece. And you should have seen her eyes light up in surprise. "Mary? What? Ordinary Mary?" Yes, Ordinary Mary's extraordinary deed had come full circle, and on its way, it had changed the lives of every person living. You see, when Mrs. Bishop made muffins from Mary's blueberries, not only the paperboy Billy Parker, but the other 4 people too made 5 people smile. And those 5 did too. And after a while, in only 15 days, love was sent to every person everywhere. Just see how it went. Well, you have 1, 5, and then another 5, and then times 5. Eventually, 6,103,515,625. I'll let the author do the math for us. Well, 6 billion is even more than that of all the people on the planet. So after everyone had a share and everybody knew that somebody cared, there was even love left over. The world was changed, and thousands and millions and billions agreed. It was all because one ordinary day, ordinary Mary did a perfectly ordinary, stunningly earth-shaking, totally extraordinary deed. And we do not have our E-classes today, but I know that Rev D has a project for our prayer, and she needs a little help from some hands.
5 people she helped, right? 5 was the number throughout the story. We might say 5 was the boundary that everyone gave, right? How could they each help 5? And that's awesome. And sometimes we think to ourselves, how can I help 5? Right? That could be a great number for us with this day, with this worship service. What could I do throughout the holiday season to help 5? Right? That could be a little goal for us. And sometimes we're told what a need is. And sometimes that's really helpful, and we like that. Right? We're doing that with the gift cards for the different families and youth and stuff in need. Like, we know there's a need for underwear and socks, and, you know, that never seems as fun to buy, and yet, who doesn't love clean, nice underwear that fits? I mean, come on. It's a good day, right? And I've noticed that sometimes people get really upset when they're told about what someone needs, right? I don't want to be told an amount that is needed to be raised, or they don't want to be told this is what someone really needs. Some people get mad if there's practical gifts on someone's list of needs. And I think that's an opportunity for us to wonder why, right? What is that? Is that really about them? Is that about us? I don't know. There's no right answer. It's just a wondering. It's a wondering. And I think that part of generosity is that sometimes we have to ask for what we need. It's even more vulnerable, right? Is asking for what we need. Or sometimes we expect everyone to know, magically reading our minds, and we're mad if they can't do it, right? Or we just don't want it talked about, because that would be a subject we don't want to talk about. We don't want to talk about money, or we don't want to talk about emotions. And so for this little exercise, we're going to try a really simple way that I need some volunteers. Do I have any children volunteers, perhaps nearby? Okay, I have 3 up here, 4, 5, okay. Do you want to do it? Okay, great. Okay, so here's the deal, all of you. Here's the deal. I have some blessings in these baskets, but you can't just give them out. None of them can have one unless they ask. So you can say, would you like a blessing? And they have to ask for the blessing, right? So they have to say, may I have a blessing, right? I could use a blessing. You may not just pass them out freely, all right? That's the deal. They have to ask, because we're going to practice asking for what we need. It's just a fun little exercise. We're going to see what it feels like to ask for something we need. We know it's going to be good. I promise, they're all nice. It should feel good, right? And it's a fun opportunity. And Marta, our religious exploration manager, she's got the basket. So you get to run around, right? And you can, people have more than one somehow. You guys are hilarious. Okay. So you go out there and you see if anyone would like one. And if they're waving, that means that they're asking for one, right? Ooh, and I get to hold Williams. Okay. I get to hold the pigeon. All right. So if you would like a blessing, you can wave or you can ask for a blessing. What does it feel like? Look around, kiddos. Who needs one? Who's asking for one? You're out of blessings? We printed like 90 blessings. Oh, that's good. So if we run out of blessings, what could we do? Share them, yes. Some people still haven't gotten one. What could they do to ask for a blessing? Could you help recycle some? Oh, okay. Look at all this sharing going on. I saw some in the back. Still need it? Even the sleeping people are waking up. This is excellent.
Keep your hand up if you'd like a blessing, please.
Excellent. How does it feel to ask? Melanie's got a mic if you have something to say. I have the pigeon.
Well, I'll answer. Oh, thank you. May I please have a blessing? Thank you. Whoa, it feels warm and fuzzy.
Aw, thank you, kids. You can bring the empty baskets back up to the right in front of the pulpit. That's great. Thank you. William, when you're ready, you can come get your pigeon. Okay, Melanie, you stay with the mic in case we need remote miking for a little bit. All right, so I want to tell you, speaking of Mike, I want to tell you about Mailman Mike. So long ago, I encountered a mailman on my daily routine whose smile could change my whole day. He could lift up anyone by putting so much enthusiasm into his grin and so much emphasis into his hello. He would do this. Come, see if you can like really do this. Come on, do it with me. Do it with me. I was positive he knew me. How did he know me? I wondered. Right? I saw him over and over, sometimes on my way to like my son's school. I would think, shaking my head, was I the only one that experienced this? Like, he made it just for me, right? This is Mailman Mike. So Luis is going to show you some photos of him. Well, over the years, I thought about Mailman Mike all the time. Because everywhere I was, it didn't matter what would happen, he would stop his car and then do it with me. Well, everyone noticed because after 30 years as a mailman, he decided to retire, and these kinds of signs started popping up all over his route. I know, right? They made awards all over the city for him. Mike's energy was infectious. He lifted everyone with his incredible joy. He's the mailman, right? Well, it turned out that his simple presence and his gratitude and his beauty, he would stop and listen to kids. He would stop and listen to people who had a hard day on his route. He just had this way of spreading joy, just rose-colored glasses. And I thought, what am I doing right now? Could I be that person when I go to the grocery store? You know, I don't think it mattered what he did. You could be the baker, the Amazon package delivery person, the church volunteer, or anything else. You could put that much joy into your hello, or just being that present as you look into someone's eyes. Robin Wall Kimmerer teaches in her book, Braiding Sweetgrass, in a culture of gratitude, everyone knows the gifts will follow the circle of reciprocity. What would I do without you? Reciprocity. And flow back to you again. Just like with Mary from the story, right? The time you might receive. We don't really keep track of it, right? Just kind of comes and goes. Both the honor of giving and the humility of receiving aren't necessarily halves of an equation. There's a ceremonial giveaway. It's an echo of our oldest teachings. Generosity is simultaneously a moral and material imperative, especially among people who live close to the land and know its waves of plenty and scarcity, where the well-being of one is linked to the well-being of all. Now, among more traditional cultures, being wealthy is measured by having enough to give away. Hoarding a gift means we become constipated with wealth, bloated with possessions. Too heavy to join the dance, she says. Sometimes there's someone, maybe even a whole family, who doesn't understand and takes too much. Maybe they need it, but maybe they don't. But those who hoard the gifts do not dance. They guard their possessions. They might count them or put them in order, but they rarely share them. How do they know they have enough if they don't give them away? The joy is in the sharing. The joy is in the community dance and the celebration. Now, Mailman Mike, when he retired, they made all these celebrations. There was celebrations at the farmer's market, putting in fake little mailboxes where you could write Mailman Mike a note to tell him how he blessed people's lives. And do you know what he said all the time? Well, shouldn't we all act that way? Because the children are watching. So the children are watching. That's why we have the children pass out the blessings, and we ask the children to ask. We ask the children for what we need, right? At Countryside this year, we're planning a much different, kind of larger scale solstice celebration where we can come and sing and share joy and join in the wonder of sharing with the congregation. We have our Giving Tuesdays coming up, which is as much about sharing good deeds as it is about sharing the fact that we're naming that $25,000 is in the budget this year for Giving Tuesday. Last year, 90 people gave out of our congregation. And when every organization seems to be asking for money for Giving Tuesday, right? And I would say for us, it makes a giant difference because 90 people giving to us is enormous compared to an organization that has thousands of donors, right? 90 people giving to us is enormous. It makes a huge difference. Our main staff is like 4 people. Us being able to hire one more staff person this year, that was giant. So there's wonder to share. Mailman Mike acted with generosity because the children were watching, and indeed, they're always watching. Let's enjoy this next song from the band.
You can hold my hand when you need to let go. I can be your mountain when you're feeling valley low. I can be your street light showing you the way home. You can hold my hand when you need to let go. Want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world while we're young and able. and a little happiness. Let the roots run deep. If it's love that we give, then it's love that we reap. If we want a garden, we're gonna have to sow the seeds. I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world while we're young and able, and bring us back together when the day is done. The door is always open, your picture's on my wall. Every word's a little broken, and everyone belongs. Yes, everyone belongs. I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world while we're young and able, and bring us back together when the day is done. And bring us back together when the day is done.
I have a garden, or a lot of garden. Debbie is in the back. I see her. I didn't think you'd be here. She's one of the few people from Countryside who's seen my house, because I live 85 miles from here. And she said, "You're like a little farmer on a city lot." My garden is a place I love and hate all at the same time. I've worked it a lot. My previous wife and I had a lot of fights over that garden. There are parts of the year where it looks just terrible, and I wonder if I should move because the weeds have taken over. What am I doing, I think? I'm never gonna make it. I'm a bad gardener. And then it'll give me some surprise and look quite wondrous. One day, those are some people who are just working on my house, but it's one of the pictures I have of one of the rainbow flags over the years. I was one of those people who flew a rainbow flag before it was cool or in. It was kind of scary. This was go. I had a knock at the door. And I was in the middle of everything. And this man, this older man, starts telling me about how he spent his whole career in the Army. I live half a block from one of the largest veterans hospitals in the country. And how he'd been closeted his whole life. And my flag being so close to the VA inspired him. And he starts telling me his story of what it's been like to be so quiet and so closeted his whole life. I'm like in the middle of like vacuuming. I think I have a dust cloth in my hand. And here he is telling me his whole story. Because I have a flag outside and I have these flowers. I realized he was having a holy moment, and I was blessed to receive his story. I realized whether I like the garden or not, it's a sacred place. Whether it drives me nuts or is a place of toil, things happen there. Sometimes people steal flowers. This September, I met a girl I'd seen her toddling with her parents. She was about 17 months old. I learned her name was Gigi. Apparently, my house is used to teach a lesson of look, but don't touch. These are different views of the garden at different times. Fair enough, I thought, but if a wee one took a flower, I'd probably giggle. Gigi showed me her cup she was holding. In a mix of English and Spanish, she banged her cup. Her parents encouraged her to talk about her cup. They wanted me to understand this was for sipping. I could tell she thought this talk from her parents was preposterous. I understood the cup was not about cup, nor its purpose to Gigi. Gigi loved the sound it made when she hit it on the sidewalk. I said, "Cup!" I got it. I delighted at this sound and encouraged her to make the sound more. I did with my foot. She smiled and laughed with satisfaction that someone finally got that cup was about the fabulously rhythmic music she could make hitting the cup near my sweet-smelling phlox. "Do it again," I said. "Clang, laugh," she squealed. The family told me again how the garden is used for daily lessons. I motioned for Gigi to walk near me. Obviously, I was trustworthy after our understanding of cup, because she came toddling over. Now, you often hear me say that a church that's not crying or giggling or laughing is dying, and that's why I have saved several families from running out the door at this congregation. And I do believe it's why we've seen some more families joining lately, because I do think that that's true. I think that families need to be made to feel extra welcome here with all of their noise, and as one visitor said, chaos. Bring it. And I know some of you don't like that. And I say, don't we want this church to grow? And no one said anything to me about that, and that's okay. Don't write. Because we want Unitarian Universalism to be here for a long time. I know me and Marta are on team lifelong UUs. Let's grow our kids into UUs. And I'm looking at and thinking, cup, you could be a UU. So I motioned for Gigi to walk near me, and I'm trustworthy because I understand cup noise, the heck with drinking. Cup makes a great noise. So Gigi toddles over to me, and I point at the peaches. Luis will find the peaches, because Luis and I have this great working together that we have. There are peaches hidden in that bramble of a garden. I know that those of you who garden will be like, what peaches grow in Wisconsin? Reliance or Contender? It's not about the sermon, but you'll ask. So I point at the peaches hidden among the flowers. I have something magical in my garden you can touch, I say to Gigi. I motion to her. She tries to reach, and it was twice as tall as her. So I make like some sort of international pantomime. I can pick you up, I ask. In affirming body language, granted consent, because I ask first. And so I pick her up so she could reach a peach, and this pleases her. And after I help her pluck it off the branch, she ran to a parent to show them her prize. And then she toddled off, holding her peach in the air and stopping every few feet to clang her cup against the sidewalk. Holding her peach up high and clanging her glass. Why be like Gigi? It's fun. It feels good. Play is worth it. We need to play. Generosity is worth more than what we might give away. We get something more than the thing we might hang on to. Clang your cup. Give away your peaches. You may have noticed I brought a whole basket of peaches here this summer. They were in coffee hour. The bouquets, the entertainment from the garden, meeting the kids, the laughter, celebrating with the veterans. It's so worth it. Because like Mailman Mike said, the children are watching. I often make dinner. The worship team knows that we have epic dinners for planning worship. Recently, we did a solstice planning meeting. I offered to make everyone dinner. Lots of items always come from my garden. Rita Brock says in We Are Called to Create, we are called to receive the offering of creation with open hearts and minds and to approach life not in fear of bigotry, but in generosity, in truthfulness and respectfulness. Though such openness, radiance is uncovered and our greening lives illuminate the meaning of our faith by our refusal to be hidden, closed, and bounded. For if we think about how love works in our lives, we know the transformative power of presence, of the life-renewing joy that comes when another is fully open to the presence to us. Through such openness, we can be transformed. Find love in each other, in the environment. We depend on it for survival. This is our generosity to have. These are the gifts of our garden. Are you ready to give away your harvest? Amen.
We give to support our church and our community. Giving is a way to participate in love and blessings. Generosity opens us up to more love. It is a way to sow, to invest in the mission and reap the blessings to come. The offering will now be gratefully received. And maybe after your song, I don't know, Rick Rayborn would like to say a few words about Giving Tuesday before your song.
Sorry to interrupt the flow. Hello, my name is Rick. I'm speaking to you today on behalf of the Giving Tuesday effort here at Countryside Church. Countryside is an organization that puts the ideals of Giving Tuesday effort into action every day of the year. As a community, we provide weekly ritual, emotional support, spiritual nurturing, intellectual curiosity, and prophetic inspiration to act on our values. And of course, we argue. How exactly to best manifest action is always a source of debate for us. That is good, right? Isn't the very act of establishing the intentionality of doing what is right a step in the right direction? In pursuit of beloved community, we welcome all of you to compel yourselves and perhaps your families and your friends to contribute financially according to your means and ability to the CCUU Giving Tuesday campaign available through our website. Think of it as your end-of-year gift to Countryside. Even the small donations add up. Your contribution assists in keeping our lights on, to continue to nurture each and every one of us, to continue to educate our children, and to externally direct aid where it is needed. Your contribution enables something bigger than yourself. Your contribution is a courageous act of radical generosity. Thank you.
We have cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I have told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of this Thanksgiving Day. As the moon sets its sails to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company.
You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one, and the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. There are girls who grow up strong and bold. There are boys quiet and kind. Some race on ahead, some follow behind. Some go in their own way and time. Some women love women, some men love men, some raise children, some never do. You can dream all the day, never reaching the end of everything possible for you.
Don't be rattled by names, by taunts, by games, but seek out spirits true. If you give your friends the best part of yourself, they will give the same back to you.
You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can try
You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done.
If you're willing and able, I hope you will stand and join in the singing of hymn number 1 and one of my favorite hymns in all of our hymn books. May nothing evil cross this door. Please join.
May nothing evil cross this door, and may ill fortune never pry about this window's may the roar and rain go by. By faith make strong the rafters will withstand the battering of the storm. His heart through all the world will chill, will keep you warm. He shall walk softly through these rooms, touching our lips with holy wine, till every casual corner looms into a shrine. With laughter drown the raucous shout, and through these sheltering walls are thin, may they be strong to keep hate out and hold love in.
Communities of people with shared values can, like the flame in our chalice, simmer in possibility, kindle passion in one another, or sear in learnings not soon to be forgotten.
Our church, like our chalice flame, has the potential power to spark more good in this world by coming together and tending the fire of our community. We extinguish this chalice, but not the glowing hearts it ignites. Go in peace.